Welcome back to Warzone Workshop. Today we're going to be cleaning and providing some maintenance to this British Bullpup L85 by TECH. Um, British. Uh, First, before you start maintenance or do anything really with it, it's proper to go ahead and set some music. Get your earbuds in. I prefer the Wolf Tones, Rifles of the IRA. It's a fantastic song. All of their stuff's really solid, and it just helps set the tone. I'm gonna go ahead and put my M16 over to the side, and we'll pop it, and we'll go ahead and pop open the LE5 that I got right here. Of course, make sure you take your magazine out. We're gonna go ahead and pop out our receiver pins. The ones you're looking for are right here behind the magazine. Don't touch that. If you already popped it out, don't put it back in. That takes out all your guts inside it. The one you actually need is back here at the back. It's not captive, so it'll go ahead and pop out. Then you're gonna want to take out this one in front of the magazine well. Pop that out. It's a smaller one. Now you'll go ahead and open it up and it'll come right off. Lay that down, not on the charging handle. Here is your lower receiver. Now that pin holds in all of this stuff. You just try not to mess with it. If it's working, it's best to leave it alone. We'll go ahead and set that to the side, and we'll take a look at our charging handle here. We'll pull that to the rear. It's got this little dust cover thing that flips out of the way when you rack it. Go ahead and pull your charging handle all the way to the rear, and take your charging handle out. Take your spring guide out, and your bolt right on out. Now your upper receiver is empty, and you can set it to the side, or you can dismantle it a little bit further by popping this open. This is probably the neatest feature of the whole gun. And then you press this little button right here, and it takes off your entire barrel shroud. And then you have your barrel exposed there. And that's how you would begin to swap over to a quad rail or do some maintenance or repair work for this thing if you had to. I'm gonna try to come out with a front grip that'll attach to it. I think that'd be really interesting to have a front grip on it. Maybe do an angled grip. That'd be nice if I could hook some rail to it. And then this is the channel that your bolt travels in. It's a pretty thick rifle, to be fair. I like it. It's a good. It looks good. It's nice and spacious. You can get in here and clean everything. Ooh, little gunk. It's easy to clean. Then, of course, you got your spring guide. You're going to want to lubricate your spring guide because you got dual springs at the rear to help stop the bolt. And then you got this single long spring in the middle, which is what forces it back up into battery. Your charging handle, of course, is this... it feels like it's all plastic. I thought it had a metal pin. It's good though. It's a nice robust plastic. It's not gonna probably crack on you. I wish there was an aftermarket for this rifle. I would like to pick up a metal charging handle, maybe something a little bit different than this. I don't know. Maybe I'll find something. If so, I'll let you know. And then, of course, you got your bolt carrier, or your bolt carrier. It's all together. There's no carrier because it's the charging handle goes right into the side of your bolt. So when you grab that charging handle, you literally are moving the bolt back and forth. There's no linkage like on a SCAR where it's got that top piece that, the charging handle's up here and you rack it back. And it's not like an AR-15 or an M16 or any of those where you got this linkage that's that can pull back on it, but then when you push it forward, nothing happens because it rides along a channel. This legit pulls with it, kind of like an AK bolt, where it's right on the bolt carrier. Only this one's physically connected, not physically connected. It just hooks in. Interesting. And of course, you're gonna want to lubricate it. Oh yeah, this one's nice and lubed up already. And I have a separate video on how to tell if you have a Gen 1 or a Gen 2 bolt. But just in case you haven't seen that, please go and look at it. It's in the comments down below or whatever. But basically, the big difference between the Gen 1 and Gen 2 bolt is you got this steel plate with the screws, and it keeps this from getting worn out. That's basically it. So now we can put it back together. And to do so, it's quite simple. I'm going to go ahead and take my barrel shroud, pop this thing open, slip it on over the barrel. Now, of course, if you have an aftermarket barrel, like flash hider or suppressor, it might not work. It depends on if the diameter here is less than what's out here. It won't go over, and so that's something to look for. If you can get a suppressor that's nice and thin, it might be okay. You might be able to still take it off, but you shouldn't have to be taking this thing off very often, so it should be fine. Now let's go ahead and put our bolt carrier back inside. To do so, we're just going to lay it in the trough here. Line up our bolt carrier hole. Take your charging handle. Get that in there. There we go. Boop. Slide that in. Go ahead and close my dust cover there. And then you're going to take your guide rod, and it goes in just like this, and it'll clip in. It's got this little recess at the back here that clips into a little spot on the back of the receiver. So you go ahead and put that in, and it'll only line up one way. If you try doing it upside down, it'll be super stiff, and you won't be able to do anything with it. So then you lock it in, and it'll just sit. It'll go in, you push it in forward, drop it down, and it should just push against that. Just like that. And now you got your charging handle, and you got your bolt assembly all nice and ready to go. Now, with your lower, you got your hammer and all that stuff, and as long as it's clean and there's no buildup or gunk or residue in there, dirt and debris, it should be fine. And you got your selector here. Mine's a little stiff, but that's better than it being loose. Let's just be fair. Gonna go ahead and set this back in. Now it's got this front hook. I can hold it like this because the spring guide's putting pressure on it. It's got this little hook up here, or big hook, I should say. And that's what hooks into the front of your lower receiver. And it should mate up just like that. Make sure you're inside the tracks of the upper receiver, and that should sit in just like that, nice and flush. And then you put your bolts, your receiver pins in. I put them in from the flat side, the side that'll lay on a table. I put them in through that side and then clip them in. I would like to see if they make any aftermarket ones that maybe have like an extra clip piece to lock them in, more permanently, so that they don't accidentally come out. Because that would suck if they came out. And just like that, we've cleaned and lubricated our TECH L85. And now we can put this thing down and go wash our hands, because you're going to need to. And then you can get yourself a TECH M16 instead. Have yourself a wonderful time. Stay safe. Always handle firearms and replica firearms in a safe manner. Don't be doing stupid stuff with it. And I'll see you next time in the war zone.